disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Been a fantastic day so far. So, shots fired at a Hillary Clinton event. This happened in Columbia University. And I'm not sure if this is part of her classes that she's teaching. I know she's now sort of educational, political lecture series like thing that she's doing at the university. Or if this was just a promotion for the new books that she's publishing, or some sort of academia kind of world. I don't know exactly what this is, but there was an event that happened, and Aaron Monte pointed this out actually on Twitter, saying at a Columbia event today, Hillary Clinton and the U.S. ambassador of the UN are facing protests over their support for the Israel genocide in Gaza. And this is kind of, we've seen this before with Jose Vega calling out politicians. We've seen this with Russell Doblar, part of Due Dissidence, calling out Rachel Maddow for her support of the Israeli genocide and not really accurately reporting the important facts and omitting important facts that comes to war when it comes to stuff that's happening in foreign affairs. And for obvious reasons, because when you admit the facts, you're not telling the whole story. And when you're not telling the whole story, you're lying to people in order to escalate tensions. And in order to de-escalate tensions, we got to figure out what the hell we're doing. We got to figure out what's going on with this war and how this started, how it originated, where these groups are coming from. No one's being told any of this in the mainstream media. And no one's being told this by any politician. You're just being told that there's a war happening. You got to be on this side. And if you're not on this side, then you're a traitor, you're a racist, you're xenophobic, you're part of the terrorist sympathizer group. You know, you've heard all those tactics before. But watch how this comes to be when Hillary Clinton is called out for her support of the Israeli genocide, and really in an impactful way.
Thank you very much.
Diane Ronald Clinton.
That's my name. That's right.
War criminal. The people of Libya, the people of Iraq, the people of Syria, the people of Yemen, the people of Palestine, as well as the people of America will never forgive.
Violating the university called.
So I don't know if you're hearing what he's saying, but it's really amazing that not only stating Hillary Clinton's full name, which I didn't know her middle name was Diane. I knew it was Hillary Rodham Clinton, but I didn't know Diane was somewhere in there. But also gave a huge laundry list of the involvement that Hillary Clinton partaked when she was a nefarious war criminal, and still continues to be a nefarious war criminal. Because as you know, girl power, feminism, they can be as much of a warmongering piece of garbage than any man can. They're equals when it comes to being narcissistic, psychopathic warmongers that are willing to invade and lust on the blood of innocent people that suffer through the carnage that they have created. And that is no stranger to Hillary Rodham Clinton. Whether it being overseas or back here at home, she is notoriously famous for aggravation, for manipulation, and cultivizing in the means of the most violent way possible. So, let me start this again in full.
Thank you very much.
Diane Ronald Clinton.
That's my name. That's right.
War criminal. The people of Libya, the people of Iraq, the people of Syria, the people of Yemen, the people of Palestine, as well as the people of America will never forgive.
Violating the university called of I'm asking you to leave. The delegates will now escort you out of the building. Thank you. Can you?
So he's making valid points about Hillary Clinton's criminal history before Whitney Cummings lookalike entered on stage and said, let the university escort you out. You had your time. You had your fun. Now let the delegates, let the smart people in the room educate you, plebes, on what it really means to be a war criminal. Because as you know, war criminals are great at business. At least that's what I'm assuming she's saying. Because, let's face it, this is a panel of bloodthirsty warhawks, just willing to vilify and penalize and retaliate on anybody to advance their goals, to advance their political visions. And that's kind of what these, institutions, these groups, these NGOs, these militarized, global conspiracy covens, if you will. It's all about nefarious psychopaths gathering together to cultivize and slaughter the rest of humanity. Like, it's just that it's cultivating new ideas on how to manipulate us. And again, Hillary Clinton is no stranger to this.
Sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Free!
Sorry about.
Free Palestine!
Got this right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Free Palestine! Free! Free Palestine! Free! Free Palestine!
Yes. So clearly she has not. She can't do anything else. She's clearly in a wreck. I give her credit though at the start. She's like, trying to own it, trying to own to the protester, being like, "Yeah, that's my name. That's my name. Don't wear it out. You gave me the full name there. Yeah, okay. You know who I am. Okay, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Oh, I feel like a star. Oh, you're bringing up my past. Oh, you're mentioning all the countries we invaded. Oh, that's right. I was Secretary of State. Oh, well, now I feel bad and I don't know what to do now. So I'm just going to stand still and, can people just evacuate this guy? Come on. What's taking so long?
Okay. Let me thank all of you for coming because this is such an important subject. And as you just heard from Milan, it is one that she and I and so many others have been focused on for decades. And yelling doesn't solve the problem. The kind of hard work and the work that you will hear.
Except if when I'm yelling, why aren't I 50 points ahead? Yelling is not the solution unless it's yelling for me. You got to be with me. If you're not with me, then you're not really part of the team. Why don't you just Pokemon go to the polls and make sure that I continue to reign queen behind closed doors? And let's just remind people that this is for an event for the Initiative of Global Politics? Yeah, the Institute of Global Politics. These are highly successful criminals, if you will, in this roundtable discussing how they need to play this 4D chess with other countries and manipulate them. That's what these institutions are known for. And Hillary Clinton is the head ringer, is the lead master to this institute that's creating these havocs, creating these warmongering, footpaths that countries are manipulated to slaughter each other for the apparent reason that they cultivize for. They knew that Israel and the Palestinian region are butting heads. And they know how impactful they know the slaughtering. They know the genocidal impact. They know the mass amounts of lives that have lost through their leadership. And this guy is on point when he's discussing you're not only responsible for what's happened with Palestine and Israel, but Libya, Syria, Yemen, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Even just on domestic levels, you are impactful for the mass incarceration your husband committed. You are responsible for race baiting certain areas. You're responsible for just The absolute worst of the worst. And that's why you're a perfect fit and figure for the Institute of Global Politics, because you just don't give a damn about people. You just care about geopolitical statures and how you need to manipulate things like you're playing a game of chess. Oh, if we take this country and then tell it to invade this country, then we can hijack their resources and give it to this nation.
Hard work and the work that you will hear from the panelists today. I think it's important that we, okay, all right, we're gonna stop a minute, and I don't, if, you know what, why don't all of you just interrupt me so that you won't be interrupting our panelists, so that we don't have this kind of disruption when we have people who are real experts in this area. And so I think it's important to focus on the event we're here. People are free to protest, but they are not free to disrupt events or classes, and that is going to be the...
I love those kind of people. You're allowed to protest and speak your mind, but just do it in a nice way. Do it in a yoga pose with a protein shake in your own house. Because doing it out loud, voicing your opinion to the person you're aggravated with, it's just not good. It's not good forte. It's not good feng shui. Okay? It's mean. Honestly, again, like, you don't understand the concept of protesting. You don't understand the concept of why he's there. They're clueless when it comes to actually discussing ideas, when it comes to actually voicing an opinion, and the reason why this man has to interrupt an event like this, and for so he should be interrupting an event like this, because this event is just absolutely just it's just an absurdity of showing how dominant these beings are against humanity. It's showing how Hillary Clinton it's not even a discussion at this point. It's basically them telling you what's going to happen and here's how you're going to deal with it. Think of it as like a miniature World Economic Forum. Like, they don't take the time to ask questions from the audience. They don't have panels of, regular Joes and Janes. They don't reach out to other people. They just say, here's what's going to happen, and you're going to have to deal with it. And if you don't deal with it, then here's the consequences you're going to get. Possibly a jail sentence, possibly end of life. But at least we told you legally in advance. So that was inspiring, also because of what she recently said on MSNBC, and this is on the Alex Wagner show, which is kind of like a Rachel Maddow light, if you will. And she was asked about Gaza and the destruction, and the typical Democratic fashion, being funneled money through AIPAC, but also kind of want to be good-hearted for all the future voters that might swing towards this party. I don't know why. Here's what she said.
What do you do with an aggressor? You have to stop them. And I think it's fair to say Hamas cares nothing about the civilians who are being murdered or killed, both by Hamas still in Gaza or through military operations by Israel. The Hamas leaders could not be clearer. Hamas is not doing anything to protect.
Is it the Hamas leaders that couldn't be clearer? Or is it Netanyahu that couldn't be clearer? Because the fact that Netanyahu told his own cabinet members, and it's been reported on Israeli publications, nowhere in the Western Hemisphere we bothered to cover it, except maybe this channel, and maybe Jimmy Dore and Kim Iverson and independent outlets. But nowhere in mainstream media do they ever take the time to look at Israeli publications and note that Netanyahu himself, Benjamin Netanyahu himself, the Prime Minister of Israel, said to his own cabinet, in order to stop the formation of the Palestine region, we need to fund money and create Hamas. I'm pretty sure that was clear as a bell, that Israel created this faction of a military group known as Hamas to go after Palestine. But again, typical Democratic fashion, typical supporter of Zionist cultist-like behavior, they omit those facts. They omit the obvious facts that, hey, this organization, this terrorist group that's raining this much havoc, actually has an origin story connected to the country that supposedly it's trying to stop. Just like how America, through Hillary Clinton and people and their subordinates, created the Mujahideen. And you know how I know this? Because Hillary Clinton admitted this in 2010 to Congress. She admitted openly that that America created the Mujahideen to install these terrorist groups to go after the Soviets, and then warned people, be careful what you sow, because eventually we'll be having to fight these terrorist groups. And guess what? We're still fighting these terrorist groups, because we're funding both sides of the argument to allow this havoc, to allow this war, because we're manufacturing war, to have a war on terror, to capitalize on a war of terror.
Palestinians.
The Israelis are now targeting Rafah, which is where they told Palestinians to move to.
Well, that is horrible. It's horrible, and it is something that we wish there was a ceasefire. If Hamas would agree to a ceasefire, there would be a ceasefire.
No, you know how there'd be a ceasefire? If we stop giving them money. The minute we stop giving them a damn dime to spend on slaughter and mayhem, that will be the day. That will be the day. The minute we defund the war machine, the profiteering aspect of the war machine, all wars will cease to exist. Because the only reason that we're in these conflicts to begin with is for a business incentive. Israel wants to occupy the Palestine region to go after its natural resources. We're using Ukraine as cannon fodder to stymie against the Russian economy. And it's a horrible blowback ever since. The Russian economy is dominating over our economy 20 times over. That's the only reason we be fighting these wars. The only reason we even mention these countries and even bother to partake in this is for a business incentive. And the minute you take that away from the war, the minute you find a way to defund the war machine, to fund the means of capitalizing off this mayhem, that is when people will drop the guns and realize that enough is enough. You're a human being, I'm a human being, let's, figure this out. Let's actually have diplomacy. Let's actually treat each other like human beings, value each other, our livelihoods. Because it wasn't too long ago that Israel and Palestine were actually trying to find a way to unite together, to find peace and civility. Not the governments, but the civilians. Israeli people are trying to promote peace and diplomacy to their Palestinian neighbors. But who did not want that to happen? Netanyahu and the U.S. government. Because they want to do everything they can to manipulate these countries to slaughter each other. And that's what's happening right now. And it's clear as day that this has been manufactured since day one to advance warfare against the Palestinian region. It's clear as day. Just like it's clear as day to note that Hamas originated from Netanyahu and their government themselves. But no one's willing to admit to it. No one's willing to point out these critical facts that are available in the Israeli publications themselves, even pointing this out. Because there's such a big, huge business investment opportunity in manufacturing this war for Israel and the military-industrial complex. That's the only reason we're doing this. It's nothing to do with protecting people. It's nothing to do with religion or biblical prophecies. It has nothing to do with defending the hostages. Because we have reported that they had every opportunity to protect the hostages, and they failed to do so. In fact, a lot of them have been killed off due to the IDF being told by the government to kill off as many hostages and blame it on Hamas. Why? Again, to escalate tensions. Escalate the tensions to continue on the war so they can manufacture more war, slaughter more people, and cash out on the capitalization of manslaughter. Hillary Clinton does not give a damn about the people of Gaza, about the people of Israel, about the people. Again, this is all just a 4D game of chess for her. This is her trying to manipulate people to say she's on both sides, that I feel devastated, but at the same time, I want to blame Hamas and also blame all the Palestinians. But at the same time, Israelis need to look at themselves in the mirror, yada, yada, yada. Tulsi Gabbard put it best. She's the queen of warmongers for obvious reasons, and that's clear as day also. And it's just another example. And then another little statistic. I'm sure she has her, goal calendar, just taking off another illegal war crime that she is partaking in. Just absolutely psychopathic, if you will.